Welcome in. Wednesday live chat time. This hour or so is yours. Whatever you want. You want to talk about DFS? You want to talk about betting? You want to do some head-to-head matchups? I don't care. Whatever you want. Drop your questions, comments, and concerns in the chat right now, and we will talk all things Wells Fargo Championship. I had something else I wanted to say, but I cannot remember what it is at this point. So we'll just start. Here we go. First question. Civic Boy 489 says, aside from Victor the Great, what direction are you going with your card this week? Yeah, wow, right out of the gate. Let's just get to this. I will remind everyone that this is what I bet. This is for me. You should not bet what I bet. You should bet what you want to bet. But we've gotten into this habit of me divulging my betting card. So it looks like this. It's very small. It's three guys. Patrick Cantlay, 14-1. Victor Hovland, 20-1. Jordan Spieth, 22-1. That's it. I think this is an event that one of the big boys is going to win. I think the elevated events have proven that. I think this golf course is going to demand it. I think that I've done a better job of being more focused on a smaller card, being able to put more money down on a smaller card, on fewer guys. So that's what I'm going with. Short and sweet. Cantlay, Victor, Spieth. We'll see. Man says, hey, Rick, appreciate what you do. Can we get a 1v1 with Benyon versus Sam Stevens and one for Cam Young and Max Homa? So sure. Here's my website, RickRunGood.com. It is a giant golf database for betting and fantasy. So there is a head-to-head matchup tool where you can pit any two golfers against one another and see the likelihood of one beating another in a 4-round matchup. Here is Benyon versus Sam Stevens in the last 36 rounds. I have been on winning this 51% of the time. So very, very tight there. The other one was Max Homa, I believe, versus Cameron Young. So we'll do Max Homa versus Cameron Young. And we will find that in the last 36 rounds, Cam Young is a small favorite, 55% or so, just a shade under 55%. So there you go. There's your 1v1s. Can you do a deep dive on Michael Kim? He's made 5 cuts in a row and also feels like a breakthrough week for Victor. Yeah, it certainly feels that way. He's just got to go out and do it. Sets up well for it and is playing great, has played well here before. Here's Michael Kim. You're right. 5 straight cuts, actually 6 if you count Zurich, right? So we've got T30 at Mexico, T19 at Zurich, bunch of other decent finishes as well. Yeah, he's been playing better. I mean, we noted how well he was playing on the Corn Ferry last year, and then his season, now that he has his card back, didn't start out off very well. It was horrible to start the year, but yeah, he's found it, and it's generally above average in most categories. You know, he can punt around the green at times, but he generally gains from tee to green. He's generally a solid ball striker. He's an above average golfer on the PGA Tour. That's what he is. Slightly above average golfer on the PGA Tour. I think that's fair to say. He hasn't played here since 2021 was the last time he played Quail Hollow, missed the cut. 2016, it was a T69. I would not look at anything historic for Michael Kim. He's gone through literally like multiple different careers, honestly. A lot of good, a lot of bad, trending back upwards now. So yeah, I think he's fine. I don't think he's got winning upside or anything like that, especially in this field. Look at his best results. Pebble Beach Pro-Am, that's like the 3rd weakest event on the schedule. Puerto Rico is like the 2nd weakest event on the schedule. So you put him in a big boy field. I think it's going to be tough. Hey, Rick, I need to round out my Roto League. with one player who has a better chance of finishing high, Ben-An, Hadwin, or Kuchar. I believe that is probably Ben-An. Hate to point out the obvious, but winning a non-elevated event is like winning a participation trophy. Wrong. Bad take. Tom says, great call on Tosti last week. Stronger field this week. Does he have the ball striking and game to get it done at Quail? All right. So here's Alejandro Tosti. And what Tom mentions is very true. Gaining 7 strokes from tee to green at the Mexico Open, while very impressive and very valuable to us, is going to be a lot harder to do something like that at Quail Hollow. Now, I think it is another data point that he is a very talented golfer, right? No matter what field you put him in, he keeps finding his way to the top. I would cap his upside maybe closer to like a top 25 this week. But yeah, let's remain bullish here. I'm pretty sure he is still $6,500, which is what he was last week. He was criminally mispriced last week, and we made everybody pay for that. But it's a great stat profile, but I would not expect another top 10. But I do believe that he can get you inside the top 25, and you'll be pretty happy with that along the way. So just temper your expectations a little bit. Let's say hypothetically you were forced to play one guy in every lineup for the rest of your life. Mine would be Sahith, is what Jared says. Who would you take? I guess I need someone kind of young and someone who, okay. So if he doesn't play, am I not allowed to play fantasy, or anytime he plays, I have to put him in my lineup? I'll assume the latter. So I would go with somebody who's going to be, should I go with somebody who's just going to be like mediocrely priced? I would go, this is a great question. It might be Colin Morikawa. Yeah. I mean, I think you'll get enough wins. You'll get he'll be like a team no putt guy that I'll love. He'll play all the big events. I think it'd probably be Colin. Rick, I'm stuck between Matty P and Cam Davis, or Jason Day and Wyndham Clark. Who's Matty P? Matty P and Cam Davis versus Jason Day and Wyndham Clark. Am I missing somebody obvious here? Matt, who is Matty P? Here's the or Matty Fitzpatrick? That's got to be right, because if you're going with Jason Day at 9,000, Fitzpatrick would be 93. That has to be Matty Fitzpatrick. So Fitzpatrick and Davis, or Jason Day and Wyndham Clark? Probably Day and Wyndham. I'm in the middle of the pack in a one and done. Rory is available at only 46% of the entries. Should I just do it? Okay, so here's your options. Rory now, or Rory at a major, or where else is Rory going to be great later down the road? I will tell you, and again, this is you can subscribe to my email newsletter and you can get little stat nuggets and optimal lineups and stuff like that every single week. If you've seen this, I pointed out this is the third best player course combination on the PGA Tour in the last 15 years. Tiger Woods at Bay Hill, Patrick Cantlay, TPC Summerlin, Rory McIlroy at Quail Hollow. So I think that if you are in the middle of the pack and Rory is already used by a majority of guys, this would be one of the best spots to roll him out. Yes, you could play him at any major championship that you want. Yes, you could play him. I'm trying to think down the road at where he might. I mean, he's not going to be a better fit anywhere else. Just play Rory. Go for it. Rick, give me 2 reasons why Cam Davis is live this week. Okay. I will say his historic driving and ball striking, right? So gained 7 strokes ball striking at RBC Heritage. He's generally a very good driver of the golf ball. If we remove this slump and go back to kind of what he did last year, you'll see a lot of really good results. And a second reason would be because I'm not betting him. And if he wins, I will not have a piece of it. That's the only second best reason I can give for you. One and done top 20. Should I play Cantlay or Rory this week? If you're in the top 20, you should probably just play Cantlay. He'll be very popular. It's well-deserved. You don't need to make up ground. You should probably just play Cantlay. No problem with either of them, but I think in your position, Cantlay. You've said how great Cantlay has looked since becoming an equipment free agent. That's right. Besides money from companies, why wouldn't more players free up their bag to play drivers, irons, etc. that they want? I imagine that for the most part, a lot of the equipment is the same, right? Not entirely, but a lot of the technology is the same. So when you have an opportunity, and here's what I'm talking about, where he became an equipment free agent at the beginning of 2023, and then he told us at Riviera that's when he really got it dialed in, and the metrics are insane. I imagine that, the amount of money that these guys command in an equipment deal is worth playing maybe stuff that is 90% of other stuff, right? I think that is probably worth it for them. Now, I don't know how different everything is. I think for the most part, a lot of it's the same. A lot of the drivers are the same. Maybe the ping drivers are a little bit different. But for the most part, I think there's a lot of really quality stuff out there. And as long as you're not with like the worst stuff, you're going to be fine. So they sign a bunch of deals. But it is always interesting, right? Like when Nike went out of business or out of the equipment business, and Rory went to a TaylorMade driver, right? And like Tiger went to a Bridgestone golf ball. Like I think that is noteworthy. But there's a lot of money on the line. Hey, Rick, loving the content. Thank you, Andy. Did Cameron Champ find something with his game last week? Whew, great question. Or could his top 10 be classified as one due to a very good course fit for his skill set? Yeah, so that's interesting, Andy. I mean, we knew Mexico, Vedanta Vallarta, in only the 2 years that we have seen it, is very, very good for long hitters. Very, very good. Now, despite being very good, I mean, he still had to gain 5 strokes on approach. He still putted well. This was a kind of on brand week for Cam Champ. I think the good news about him is he doesn't need a lot to get him going, right? So it's, 6 cuts in a row, T8. What's he going to do this week? Well, let me just zoom out a little bit. Prior to his last win, it was a bunch of missed cuts, T11 win. I think this is still a pretty decent spot for him, right? Drives it well off the tee. Distance is better than not having it. It's a little bit more nuanced, obviously, but I would probably take another crack at Cam Champ this week. Thoughts on Hatton this week? Also, shout out for Harry Hall, helping me get to 2-0 against you in the $100 season-long league. Like, why'd you have to go and say that, Paul? Why'd you have to go and say that? Yeah, congrats. You're 2-0. I love it. Yeah, well done. Harry Hall, Vegas guy. Love to see it. Terrell Hatton. Let's start with his history around Quail Hollow, and it is essentially non-existent. So 2022 was not at Quail Hollow. That was TPC Potomac. And then 2018, 5 years ago, do I really care about that? It was a T42, not particularly. The play coming in, I don't love to see that he's been basically an average approach player over the course of his last 4 starts. I don't love to see that the putter is struggling at times. I'm lukewarm here. I do like that. I bet you if we looked at just like hard golf courses, I bet you Terrell would show up pretty well. But outside of that, like a 5.5, 6 out of 10. Do you have any model that shows if there's an advantage of taking a golfer on FanDuel versus DraftKings based on price differentials to determine what site makes them a better play? No, not a bad idea though. Celebrating my 25th wedding anniversary. Cheers, David. I had to sneak in a Cantlay, Mitchell, or day one and done. So this very much depends on your position. So if you are front running, Cantlay. If you're in the middle, I don't mind day. And if you're trying to make up ground, Mitchell. What's happening, Rick? How much stock are you putting into players that performed well at the President's Cup? If so, which players? So very little. It's a bonus, but I don't think I'm even really breaking ties with it. I do think, though, when you look at it, you say, okay, Jordan Spieth was 5-0-0 here. That's pretty cool. It's a different routing, obviously, and the course is going to be set up a little bit differently, but get some good vibes going for Jordan Spieth, the guy who's already playing well at 5-0-0. Tom Kim burst onto the scene here. I think, yeah, give him a little bit of a positive. Give Sungjae a little bit of, I guess the only positive is most guys haven't seen this golf course since, actually, they haven't seen it since May of 2021. But the guys who played the President's Cup saw it in September. I think it's a bonus. How much faith do you have in Morikawa out ball striking his length, quote, issue? I have enough faith. Remember, this is a place where, yes, distance is going to help. but just the ability to gain off the tee. There's only 6 other courses on the PGA Tour schedule in which strokes gained off the tee is more important. And Morikawa is a big-time gainer off the tee. Not a big-time gainer, but he's a very strong positive off the tee. And he's a huge gainer on approach. And his around the green play has gotten better. The putter still pops at times. It continually is a great stat profile. Has he played here before? He must have, right? No, first time teeing it up. Debutante. Okay. I'm okay with it. Absolutely fine with it. What were Luke List's strokes gained putting numbers last week? Had to be gross. Yeah, so this is actually a free tool. So if you go to RickRunGood.com, go to more, go to free tools, there's a live leaderboard that updates after each round during the tournament. So we can just see this together. Luke List lost. It wasn't that bad by Luke List standards, 2.27. Now he missed the cut, so that's a stroke per round. So that's pretty bad. But all in all, not bad. He lost more than that around the green. Gained 5 in the ball striking categories. Sickening. Thoughts on Day in a big one and done? Got Rory Homa available as well, but both will be super popular. Yeah, this depends on your position. If you're kind of in the middle of the pack or trying to make up ground, I think Jason Day is a pretty solid option, right? But if you are front running, Rory or Homa would be better. So here's J-Day. A little bit of a disappointing start at the Masters. Not going to crush him for that. We haven't seen him since there, but the run of golf's been great. The approach, the off the tee and the ball striking have been phenomenal. The short game and the putting, stout again. I don't need to probably describe the success that he has had around this place. He won it in 2018, T24 in 2019. He missed the cut here in 2021. The last time it was played at Quail Hollow, but remember what kind of golfer he was then. It was not particularly good. That was that prolonged slump that he was in. He's much better now. So yeah, it depends on your position here, but I would prefer you use him if you were in the middle of the pack or trying to make up ground. Tim Peterson says Carson Young seems super cheap at 6,100. Agreed. Yeah. So I think he should be like 68, something like that. He played great at Mexico. T15 ball striking was phenomenal. The elevated event that we saw him in, T19 RBC Heritage, gained 7 strokes ball striking. So that's pretty big difference, right? So he gained 7 strokes in one of the toughest fields of the year, RBC Heritage, and he gained 7 strokes ball striking in one of the weakest fields of the year in Mexico. Great sign. Also, it's a great sign of how consistent he was. Gained off the tee in both, gained on approach in both, lost exactly the same amount around the green in both, and was a small positive putter in both. That's a very on-brand stat profile. He's $6,100. He shouldn't be 10,000 or anything like that. He should be like 6,800. But when you compare it to the other guys that are $6,100, it's an absolute joke. He's got 2 top 20s in his last 2 individual events. Everyone else combined, $6,200 and lower, has like 1 top 20 in their last 5 starts. So it's obviously a misprice by a couple $100, and it opens up a lot of possible options at the top of the board. So good question there, Tim. If you were rounding out a lineup with a 2v2, would you take Patrick Rodgers and Damon or Grillo and McCarthy? Probably Rodgers and Damon, but I like Grillo. I like Rodgers. Probably Rodgers and Damon. Who's the best player under 6,100? I believe it is, as we just mentioned, either Alejandro Tosti or Carson Young. Does Sam Burns' stat profile fit this golf course? Yeah, so the good news is, I think we're starting to figure out what was wrong with Sam Burns. He had a driver that failed testing at Riviera, and it kind of seemingly leaked into the rest of his game. But now he's getting a bit more consistent. The ball striking's coming back. He's always been a phenomenal putter with the ability to catch it hot. This is a great stat profile. I've been on the record calling Sam Burns the modern golfer, right? Hits it long enough. Usually pretty good on his approaches, can get hot with the putter. Played here in 2019 with Drew, played here in 2018. If he played here in 2028, that would be interesting. Didn't play particularly well, but this is a great stat profile. Yeah, I like the way Burns sets up. You know, we saw him play well on like longer, more demanding golf courses like Riviera. He tends to play well. Innisbrook, right? Valspar. Yeah. Saw him pop at an elevated event here, won the match play. Sam Burns is rolling. Let's do it. Can we do a deep dive on Ryan Moore? Oof, boy. We're at that point of the show. Usually it's an elevated event. We usually get a bit deeper than this. So it finished T33 at Mexico by gaining across the board, gained very little across the board, had missed 6 or 7 cuts prior to that. this does not particularly interest me. Here's his history around Quail Hollow. It's not bad. A couple of missed cuts. I mean, it dates back a while, and these top 5 and top 6s are like 10 years ago. So this does not particularly excite me. Is it possible to see the strokes gain distribution? Sure. So go to the power rankings, go to strokes gain distribution. We can look at the last, what do you want to do? I'll just do the last 36 rounds and see who's playing well. So Akshay Bhatia has gained 5 or more strokes in 16% of his rounds over the last 36. Cam Young's doing it at 13% with Chris Kirk and Jason Day. Ben Griffin's been good as well. Jordan Spieth, Max Homa. If you want like someone more consistent, so someone who's gaining like 1 or more stroke to the field, Benny On's been doing it 73% of the time. That's pretty surprising. Patrick Cantlay, 69. Tony Finau, 69. Matt Fitzpatrick. I mean, look at these names. Rory, Spieth, Fitzpatrick, Tony Finau, Cantlay, Ben On. Like, which one of these is not like the other? It's because Benny On's been great at gaining 1 or more stroke, but he is not gaining as frequently 2 or more, 3 or more, 4 or more. 4 or more is okay. 5 or more is okay. But he doesn't really, the ceiling is not necessarily there as much. So the way to kind of look at this is, you look at somebody like, let's find a good example here. Ben Griffin. Ben Griffin's ceiling is similar to Max Homa, Jordan Spieth. However, his floor is similar to Pearson Coody, Peter Malnati, Taylor Pendrith, et cetera, et cetera. So pretty interesting way to look at things. Top 30 in the run and done. You're rocking. Who would you prefer out of Xander, Homa, Spieth, or JT? Yikes. That's a embarrassment of riches. I would say Homa is I think you just have to play Xander. Yeah, I mean, I think you have to play Xander here. Looking to fill out the card with $6,900 was leaning on Gordon or Bramlett. The Bramlett profile is better than I would have guessed. I was looking at this earlier in the week. Gordon, I get the Gordon stuff, but he's played like 1 good event. Bramlett's been a little bit better for a little bit longer. He had these 2 back-to-back missed cuts at API and the Players. Am I going to crush him for both of those? Not really. Gained across the board at Mexico, has been driving it well. I don't mind this. So this is a better profile than I would have anticipated. I will go Bramlett here, but I'm a little bit worried. Brett says, hey, Rick, can't lay equipment narrative. Looks like he's still using the old TS3 driver, old woods, and AP irons. Obviously, I can't see him on the course, but is there anything concrete on what he is gaming? Not off the top of my head. I think he did talk about it. I will have to go look it up. If I can find it, I will tweet it out. Thoughts on Shane Lowry this week? Okay, let's go see what Shane is up to. Lost it. Oof. He's been very bad with the putter. He's lost 9 strokes putting in his last 2 starts. Lost 4 at the Players. Wow, he's been really bad with the putter. That's a little bit surprising. Driving it okay. Approach play's been generally positive, but struggling more as of late. Short game has struggled. Ooh, I don't like that. I do not like these short game struggles. It's usually very stout. Go back here and look at that. This is tough to get excited about. A little bit worrisome. Looks like a lot of kind of, I don't want to call them holes in his game. He hasn't had much success around here either. I don't want to call it holes in his game, but things that are not as good as they normally are across the board kind of worries me. Going to take a pass on Shane Lowry. Thoughts on Pendrith? Yeah, we got to give Pendrith one more go here, right? Drives it well. He was on that President's Cup team, right? For the Internationals. Didn't play well, but I mean, the international team got smoked. So I don't really care. I mean, Tom Kim, who we anointed the next best thing, was 2-3 that week. Don't forget that. So yes, back to Pendrith. Should be one of the better spots for him. I think we play Pendrith this week, and then we probably find him down the road. Like 3M Open, Rocket Mortgage, kind of see what happens after that. Bring back the national anthems, says Dylan. I do not understand what that means. Bring back the... Is that a question for me? Is that like a comment for me or for like in general? I have no idea what that means. How do I break a tie between Vic and Cam Young for one and done? So the question is, does either have a more obvious fit later? Cam Young has proven to be pretty versatile. If you look at his stat profile, you look at places that he's had success: Harbor Town, Jackson Country Club, the Masters, Austin Country Club, Royal Greens in Saudi Arabia, Hero World Challenge, St. Andrews, Southern Hills, Quail Hollow. These places are Riviera, right? I mean, that runs a gamut, right? So I think you are probably better off saving Cam because there's going to be a lot of really good fits for him and using Victor trending in the right direction, playing really well in the ball striking categories, has played well here. I think there are probably more good fit. I mean, Cam has proven to be very, very versatile. I'm out of the money in one and done, and I'm looking for someone with a lower ownership. Any recommendations? So depending on how far out you are, like Tom Kim, I mean, he's got Joe Scavron on the bag. It's going to be a test of distance, but again, played well here at the President's Cup. He's not going to be popular at all. And we're going to find out. Like, we're going to learn what Tom Kim is, not Sahith. I was just looking at his name. Outside of that, like Sungjae, right? I don't think Sungjae is going to be particularly popular. Harry Hall or Hayden Buckley. I think you have to go Hayden Buckley here. I think it's just a elite driver of the golf ball in a situation where that should be rewarded. What is the weather going to do, says Robin? I'm looking for a first round leader, AM or PM. Well, here is the forecast for, I used Carmel or Carmel. If we were in Northern California, that'd be Carmel. This might just be Carmel Station. This is right by the golf course. And you can see Thursday all day long, literally the same. Friday all day long, literally the same. So I do not think that there is any, I was covering over the wind. The wind doesn't do anything. If this forecast is true, shouldn't be much of a difference. You might get your standard like PMs a little bit harder because the stuff gets baked out and there's foot traffic and stuff like that, but does not appear to be a tangible difference there. Top two guys in the $76 to $8,500 range, $100 single entry, asks Brian. So that is 85 to 76. So that is Terrell to like Taylor. Okay, I'm kind of in on Taylor Moore. Kid's a stud, right? Won a couple of starts ago, has followed it up with a lot of great play. Love that. From 86 down, I would probably, or from 85 down, excuse me. I think Keith Mitchell's in a pretty decent spot, right? Has played well here, is coming off a decent finish, has an elite skill set that will be rewarded. I love it when, a guy has a skill set that we think is going to be valuable, uses that skill set and gets good results at a golf course. That's like very much passing the stat test and very much passing the eye test. So I like that. And there was a couple questions about Keith Mitchell after that. I'm 32nd in your run and done. I have Cantlay available, but should I save him for Memorial and pick Thomas Morikawa Young instead this week? Okay, so that's a kind of an embarrassment of riches. If you do have Cantlay available, you could use him at the Memorial. That would be the next logical spot to use him, or you could use him in Chicago at the BMW Championship. I would have no problem if you wanted to use Cam Young this week and then use Patrick Cantlay at the Memorial. I think that would be very fair to both of those guys, and you would. I don't think you're giving up anything this week that you're not going to get back at the Memorial. So that's fine by me. Robert asked to name one golfer not named Rory McIlroy who would be my pick to win this week. The answer to that would be Patrick Cantlay. Excuse me. Am I crazy to full fade the top and start with Sungjae, J-Day, JT, Cam Young? So you would be starting here. 9,100. I mean, you're giving up a lot of win equity at the top, but I will say, without Rahm and without Scheffler and with Rory, who hasn't played in 4 weeks, and with Xander, who, Xander's fine, and Cantlay, who's going to be popular, it's not the worst thing I've ever heard. Go for it. Hey, Rick, as always, I enjoy listening to your content. Thank you. Do you agree that with all golfers in the field, we do not have to throw anyone? What? Do you agree that with all golfers in the field, we do not have to throw anyone? I'm sorry, Michael. I have no idea what that means. Can you do a deep dive on Adam Scott? 7,300 seems cheap. Let's see what old Adam Scott's been up to. Oof. Wow. It's kind of bizarre. I mean, statistically, it's been very, very bad, right? At least from the approach play. He's lost 3.7 at the RBC Heritage, 5.2 at the Masters, 7 at the Players. He made the cut in all of those. And the RBC Heritage and the Masters, he finished inside the top 40. Now, a smaller field at the Masters. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's where I always kind of struggle. I look at this and say, this is horrible. But, he's driving it well. The around the green play and the putter has been good enough to get him through. You also say this might be, this is a situation where we need to look round by round, because that might just be like one bad round on the weekend, right? So we kind of have to look a little bit deeper at this. So let's go find Adam Scott. I guess I just should have sorted, is hard to say. So let's see. So like one bad round on Sunday at Harbor Town. He lost 2 strokes to the field. His weekend at the Masters, and actually he got off to a hot start and then it wasn't very good after that, but he had really one horrible round on Saturday. One really bad round at the Players. Yeah, so this is actually interesting. One really bad round at API. He's got to avoid the one bad round. The rest of it's not so bad. So I would say that makes me a little bit more bullish on Adam Scott. Who do you think you leaning towards? Wow, we are having issues asking questions, or at least I'm having issues understanding questions. Hey, Rick, can we see an updated model? Sure. Custom model, RickRunGood.com. So I actually, I think I saved my model from earlier, didn't I? 2023, what did I call it? 2023 Wells Fargo Championship. I did. I saved it. So I'm not going to open it because I don't want to be tainted. I remember using a lot of things. So I'm going to try to use less things. Also, look at this. Rory McIlroy, since the last run, 4% decrease in projected ownership. Terrell Hatton coming up. Cam Young coming up. Tom Kim going down. I love this model. How good is this model? Okay, let's do something that I didn't do. Okay, so here's what I'll do. I'll just lean on the key stats, okay? So let's do strokes gained off the tee, last 50 for 20. That's a lot. Strokes gained approach, last 36 for 20. That's a lot. Let's go. Then I'll just round out. So I do want a little bit around the green. Let's go shorter term round. I usually don't do this, so I don't think I did this. 10 around the green, last 12. 10 putting, last 12. I definitely didn't do this on Monday. Okay. I will also do. I saved a little bit of room. I'm pretty sure I did this on Monday, but it's okay. I'm going to do a little bit of these long iron shots, right? 175, 200, 200, 225. So I've got 30 left. I know I did strokes gained hard courses. I know I did course history. Let's do something different. Let's do bonus putting. Okay, let's do like an upside one. So bonus putting is, did you make all your 5-footers and how many like over 20 feet did you make? So let's put 15 there. And then let's do our last 15 on a strokes gain distribution of 7 on how often they gain 4 or more strokes and 8 on how often they gain 5 or more. So to me, this is a model that is, yes, it is focused on Quail Hollow, but it is also very much focused on upside. This is not a safe model that I just ran. Okay. So that's what I'm doing here. Number 1 is Patrick Cantlay. Number 2 is Sungjae Im. Number 3 is Tony Finau. And look, you can see the volatility coming into play already. Number 4 is Emiliano Grillo, right? Rory is 5. Ricky Fowler is 6. Terrell is 7. Victor is 8. Xander is 9. And Will Gordon is 10. Will Gordon gets big ball striking bonuses. He gets long shot bonuses. He gets a boost in a lot of places. So this is Sahith is 12, right? I mean, this is a very upside heavy model. Just trying to see who falls in that. Like Jordan Spieth falls 9,600. He doesn't hit those long irons as well as some of these other guys. Who else kind of falls here? Spieth might have been the bigger name that fell, but pretty interesting. So you can kind of build these models, for what you're looking for. This would be a very high upside model. If I switched it to how often they gain 0 or more or 1 or more, you'd get a lot of different names. So interesting stuff. I'm going to save this one as well. I'm going to save it as 2023 Wells Fargo upside. So now really what I could do, well, I could come back to this next year, or if I remove the stuff that was more specific to, this could actually be called 2023. This could actually be called ball striking upside, because that's really what I did. Right. So now if I go to a golf course, another golf course later that I want upside and I want ball strikers, I could just load that same model and have it apply. Pretty cool. One and done. Although I think Vic has a good chance to win the PGA at ball striking Oak Hill. Am I correct? No reason to not use him this week. If I think equally, I don't know what you're trying to say. Yes, Victor's a great fit for this week. Top 3 7K guys. Okay. I would say Keith Mitchell, Taylor Moore, Hayden Buckley, something like that. Honorable mention, Benny On. Honorable mention, Bo Hostler. There's a lot of guys here, but I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with those names I mentioned. So Scott says, hey, Rick, do you think Woodland's game is good enough if he can putt the way he's putted here in the past? Yes. If he strikes it the way he has recently and putts like he has here in the past, he will win this golf tournament. Although I do not know how realistic that is. I watch him every single week, just whiff 9-footers 18 times. I just am sick of it. Thanks for all the wonderful content. What are your thoughts now on what players will perform well at the USPGA at Oak Hill? That makes me think you are from overseas, that you call it the USPGA, which is very cool. I am not ready to say yet. So Andy Lack, him and I are going to debrief here shortly on everything he knows about Oak Hill. He was up there a couple weeks ago or a couple days ago or whatever. So we've got a lot of insight coming. I will abstain until then. Hearing some buzz about Sam Stevens. Do you think he's a good play on DK? Yeah, he's all right. You know, I've dipped my toe into the Sam Stevens waters recently, and it has not been super fruitful. But I do like the way that he strikes it. 10.5 strokes gained ball striking at the Texas Open. However, we haven't really seen that level of upside as of late. I'm cooling on him. I'm probably a 4 out of 10 instead of like a 5 or 6 like I was a couple weeks ago. High of 47 today in Rochester. Yeah, I heard it's snowing in Syracuse today. Ooh, I'm going to bundle up. Yeah, so I'm getting in Monday night of PGA Championship week. So I'm bringing many layers because I imagine when I see a 7:10 tee time for somebody, I'll be out there on the golf course, but I'm layering up. This is a super chat, which is not required, but always appreciated. Also, Mina's coming. That's right. So thank you. So looking for a last man in, $7,400. Preferably would like to leave a couple $100 on the table for flexibility. Ben On's not bad. I don't mind him at all. I don't mind Ben Griffin. I don't mind Taylor Pendrith. I might lean Pendrith here. I'll tell you what. Like, driving distance can be wonky at times. This is the last 36 rounds I'm showing. S.H. Kim is driving it better than Taylor Pendrith is. He's got 3 straight top 25 finishes. His short game is pretty good. His approach play is not great. Can we do a little bit of an S.H. Kim situation here? I hate that I'm going to go look at the buckets, but I'm going to go look at the buckets. Yeah, he's not. I mean, he's inside the top 100 from those longer shots. It's a great stat profile. He's missed 1 cut dating back to the American Express. It's probably not going to be owned at all. 3%. Did I just talk myself into S.H. Kim? I think I did. Okay, we're getting to that point where I've answered like a lot of these. So we're getting repeats, which I'm just going to skip over, which is okay. Jay says, stars or scrubs or a more balanced approach? I would probably prefer a bit of a more balanced approach. Sans, Scotty, and John. Best live chat of the week. Let's go. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thoughts on if we can... I answered that. Okay. Answer that. Good. Got to go to Nick Tahoe's for a garbage plate in Rochester. It's a rite of passage for visiting the city. Thank you, Daniel. I'll add it to the list. I am compiling a list of things to do, especially for Mina during the week if she doesn't come to the golf tournament, places to eat, things to see, etc., etc. I've gotten a lot of great recommendations thus far. We will not be able to do them all, but I appreciate it. It says, Rick, you playing D1 baseball, doesn't it get enough play in here? Well done, sir. Thank you. Yes, that's how I went to college. You didn't miss much. It wasn't anything spectacular, but it paid for college. I currently have a lineup with Woodland, Grillo, and List. My doctor advised me against it for my cardiovascular and mental health. What do you think? Yeah, just like open up the newspaper on Monday morning and see who won. Just do not live track these guys. You will not make it throughout the week. Can we get a deep dive? A deep dive on NeSmith, and I can't believe you didn't pick caddying for Victor in the first cut. Yeah, he works too hard. He's out there all the time. Do you understand how, like, I don't want to be out there from sun up till sundown, and that is what he does. I don't want that. It's interesting, right? You know, NeSmith, if a year ago, or not even a year ago, in the fall, I would have been very excited to get Matthew NeSmith here. Look at this stat profile. It's gorgeous. He ended with a beautiful run of golf. And then the season ended, or the break happened, and it just, like, it's been gone. Now, you finish T4 at Zurich, but you do it with a partner. Is that the spark you need? Is you need to see things go in? Do you find something? I don't know. If you want to take a flyer on him, that's fine. And hope that you're getting him early. I probably will not. There's just so many good guys here, but I really hope. And honestly, the first sign of anything like this, I'm back in on NeSmith. His stat profile was so good. So I'm going to need to see just like a little bit, not lose multiple strokes ball striking. But if you want to say, yo, he found something, he needed to see the rock fall, it's your money, man. Spend your money. Any concerns or an adjustment period for Cantlay with Joe LaCava on the bag? No. Have to pick one. Kitayama, Damon, or Spawn without knowing anything about the format or what you're looking for? Kitayama. Potential Vegas trip coming up. Would appreciate some recommendations and activity recs. Could list them for an hour. All the restaurants at the Wynn are great. Go to the Arts District. And, I could, email me. Any chance you could display? See, Jason knows the questions to ask. That it's like, I don't want to pay for a subscription, but I know the questions I ask. So, Jason, I got you, bud. He wants to see the lucky and unlucky quadrant. So, two things. Here's that quad. Here are those quadrants, right? So, this is a breakout candidates chart. It looks at who's hitting it well from tee to green and who's getting unlucky with the putter. The idea being, if they get back to their baseline with the putter, whether it's good or bad, they're going to break out. Patrick Cantlay is also in the top of this, which is insanity because of how good he's been. Just throw out the names, throw out the odds. If you ran every stat profile across my desk, Patrick Cantlay would be my pick to win. Bo Hostler's up there, Denny McCarthy, Victor Hovland, Terrell Hatton, Gary Woodland, Carson Young, Matt Wallace. The second best quadrant you want to be in is over here. Good tee to green, but lucky putting. So you'd get a little bit of a regression with the putter, but still not bad enough. So Wu, Fowler, Ben Martin, Wyndham Clark, Taylor, more guys in the good side of things. And then the bottom left and the right left, I'd prefer you don't be in. The other thing that I added this week, which I'm really excited about, is this strokes gain trend tool. So basically just another column. So this always shows who's hot and who's not, but it's hard to compare. I'll give you a perfect example. What's better, a hot Eric Cole or a cold Justin Thomas? These are questions I find asking myself all the time, which honestly, if I'm asking myself these questions, I probably have a problem. But I can tell you now, a hot Eric Cole is just slightly worse than a cold Justin Thomas. So Justin Thomas is playing below his baseline. Eric Cole well above his, and now they're similar again. So look at it this way. Rory McIlroy has been below his own baseline, but still, despite that, second best player in this field. So I thought this was a cool way to kind of compare everybody, who's playing above, who's playing below, and how that ranks. Have at it. I've answered a lot of these, thank goodness. I have answered a lot of these. This is an interesting question. I think it's an opportunity to talk about somebody we haven't talked about yet, which is MJ Duffy. So MJ Duffy, I think he missed the cut last week. He did in Mexico. I mean, he was within 1 of 0 in every category, but he lost in all of them, and he missed the cut. Is that the worst thing in the world? Especially because that's his first missed cut since the Farmers. He had played very well. Besides that, he had a couple of top 25 finishes. Obviously, these are not super strong fields that he played in, but I think that this is like worth one more crack at him and see what happens. I doubt he's played here, but I could be wrong there. No, he hasn't played here. But I thought that was an interesting opportunity to talk about. Keep rolling with Wyndham Clark. Yeah. Right. What did he do for us? Right. Wyndham has been one of the most, if not the most valuable fantasy golfer of the year. Not an exaggeration. He's done nothing but outperform his expectation. Even last week, he makes the cut on the number and then gets hot on the weekend. He gets you a T24. Like, we're going to keep running him out until something happens. Best approach players from 175 plus. Excuse me. Sure. Let's go to the Holy Grail. I think I have it in the Holy Grail stats. We'll go to approach play. We will do, there's a couple of different ways I could show you this, but we could just do from 175 to 200. So that would be like Pendrith, Cam Young, Siwoo, Xander, Colin, Tony Finau, MJ Duffy. If you go to 200 to 225, that would be Gary Woodland, Mackenzie Hughes, Max Homa, Adam Svensson, Patrick Cantlay. 225 to 250. I don't know if you want to go this far. Sung Jae, Danny Willett, Adam Svensson, Nick Harden, Keegan Bradley. Or you could go to the model and you could put a mixture of those together. Or you could click through everybody's stat profile and see it. I'm stuck for a pick in Rick Run Good. I'm in 31st. I regret taking Wyndham Clark last week over Finau. I thought to use him. Yada, 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 yada. If you're in 31st, play Victor. It's not horrible to play Tony Finau, but I think you should play Victor. Just want to say thanks. I've cashed 3 weeks in a row since finding your channel. You do all the work, Jeremy. I just do the talking. You got to make the picks at the end of the day. So congratulations. Okay. That's Run Good Recap as a name for my weekly email. That's not bad. The next question is in regards to comps for Quail Hollow. So Andy Lack does his course breakdown every week on Monday on RickRunGood.com, which you can read. And I'll just tell you what his comps were. I'll tell you a couple of them. Torrey Pines and Bay Hill. I like the Torrey Pines one, right? Torrey Pines asks you to hit driver off the tee everywhere and long irons. And so does Quail Hollow. Where is ownership accumulating? Okay, sure. Yeah, let's go. So Rory, 23%, Patrick Cantlay, 20, Victor, 24, JT, 20, Cam Young, 25. A little bit further, Keith Mitchell, Corey Connors. A little bit surprised Corey Connors is getting the amount of play that he's getting. Then you go a little bit further. You get Adam Scott at 9%, Gary Woodland at 10, Akshay at 6 is probably the most popular in the 7K range. Will Gordon at 5. That's basically it. How was Rory's form coming into his wins in the past here? Okay. Yeah, we can do that. So Rory McIlroy. So coming into his wins. So it would have been 2021, right? So 2021. Let me get oriented here. Wells Fargo. He missed the cut at the Masters. So how about that? Okay. I might just stop there. Rory in 2021 misses the cut at the Masters, doesn't play until Wells Fargo, wins it. Should I keep going? All right, I'll keep going. So he also would have won it in, God, he won one of them. He won one of them long ago, right? So let's just do it this way. Pull up his wins over here. Wells Fargo in 2021, 2015, and 2010. Okay, so 2015 and 2010. 2015. Where are you? Am I in 2015? Oh, Wells Fargo Championship. Apologies. So it was T8 the Players. Remember that was in May. The week before, Matt, he was playing great before that. It was a bunch of top 10s, and it was absolutely coming. And then 2010, it was called the Quail Hollow Championship, but here it is. So, okay. Nugget time. I'm going to have to tweet this out. Of the 3 times Rory has won this event, twice, he missed the cut at the Masters in his previous start. It means nothing. I just think it's like kind of interesting, but that doesn't mean anything. But how about that? Let's go. I think I hear Oliver getting into trouble, Mina. Sorry. We're all working from home. Silent Assassin, again with a super chat, not required, but appreciated. Last 2 in FD, Sungjae and Day or Cam Young and Sahith. Ooh, that's pretty tight. I would go Sungjae and Day. Like the video and subscribe. Come on, y'all. Okay, actually, yeah. So I will say this. Like over half of the people who watch my videos every single week are not subscribed to the channel. Maybe I should ask more frequently, but like just subscribe. It helps me a long way. It costs you nothing. It's like pretty easy to do. It's like the same people watch every single week, but they're not subscribed. So just subscribe. Thank you. Rick, I live an hour away from the course and it's been windy here for the last week. Take that info however you like. Thank you. Fun fact, Sahith currently holds the cuts made lead this year. He's actually tied with Wyndham Clark. Remember when we would say he was very volatile? Yeah. We've talked about it a lot recently that he has gotten much more consistent. Yeah, for sure. We've been tracking this for a long time. He's been awesome. I do like Patrick Rodgers again this week. Got better each and every week, each and every round last week. I think I talked about him all the time. Should be another good driver course. The guy who asked about the national anthems was referring to Mark's. Thank you. That makes more sense. Thank you. Hey, Rick, thanks for your content. Hey, thank you. Missed half the live discussion. Hey, Rick, how's the golf game? My kids are playing varsity. Very jealous. What a great experience. Yeah, high school golf's like the absolute best. Playing high school golf, we played like courses we never would have been able to play for free range ball. High school golf is like the best experience. Get your kids to play high school golf. I'm rounding into form. So I've been taking lessons. I'm 4 lessons in. I've made a ton of progress. I'm feeling it, striking it. I got a lot of short game work to do, but I'm the best I've ever been. 18th and you're one and done. Victor is going to be too popular for me. No, you're good. He's going to be like 15% owned or something like that. You'll be fine. And a lot of guys have already used him. So I wouldn't be too worried. You'll be fine. Oh, don't send the same message like 5 times. That's not going to work. Is there a chance to recover accidentally deleted models in the custom model? Asking for a friend. No. So the thing is, Ryan, so I'll just address this real quick. Like the thing is like, so when you put yourself in my shoes, right? Like running a website where people are creating lineups, that comes with a lot of responsibility, right? And I have to separate myself from your stuff, right? Like there are, for all sports, I don't like that sites track what users are doing. That's very close to, it's knowing what users are doing. So I think that's kind of a breach of there are sites out there for all sports that could pull up all your lineups and say, oh, this is what you're playing in baseball today. Okay. If they wanted to, that would be malicious if they wanted to. I've chosen to not be a part of that. So everything is just saved like locally for you. So I can't like recover your custom models in the same way that I can't access your lineups. It's all being built on your own system. So that's why like when I run lineups, like it's all very fast, but like mine might be faster than somebody else's because my computer's faster, right? Like it's all happening locally. So just a little bit of a tangent there, but no, by design, I can't recover your stuff. And I think that's good. Producer's pick of the week. That's Mina. She's going with Emiliano Grillo. Hezo says, I'm second in an 80-man one and done. Nice. Already used Rory and Homa. Should I go Finau, Cantlay, or Hovland? Yeah, you have a really good, so here's what I would do. Cantlay, you can use the Memorial. You should probably earmark him for that. Finau, you could use him in the summer at like a 3M if you're not comfortable using him at a major. I mean, you could use Finau at the PGA Championship, couldn't you? You could use Finau at a playoff event, and I don't think that would be that bad. I think you should probably just use Victor this week. If you're second in an 80-man, just use him. Every other elevated event, it's been about which of Scotty or Rahm is going to win. With neither here, who steps up? Take your stand. Patrick Cantlay. For one and done, would you rather use Cam Young, Tagala, or Im, currently sitting in 5th place? You should use Cam Young. What's your take on the DK Rainmakers PGA cards? Why do some players not have cards yet? Well, I think because there's not a union, right? So I don't know this for sure, but my guess is that because there is not a union in the PGA Tour, the PGA Tour has to make a deal with players individually and then sell that to DraftKings. And I'm assuming guys like Fowler or Spieth might have opted out, right? So it's not like a players union in Major League Baseball where if you sign with the union already has the likeness rights for every player. So I think that's why. My take on them is that it is a very good idea that is being executed good, not great. And that for the most part, you should be buying individual cards instead of pulling packs. But I actually do think that like I've pulled some really crappy packs, but honestly for the non-elevated events, they've been okay. But I hate the fact that these cards are good. I want these cards to last forever and not have to expire at the end of the year. I think it's a bit of a money grab that hurts the long-term game for me, but I do love the concept. Can you wait to tweet out the Rory nugget until roughly 1:30 a.m. Pacific? Leading in a 35-person one and done. Yeah, you got it, Kylie. Play Victor this week and play Cantlay at the Memorial or at the BMW Championship. Yes. Hey, Rick, thanks for your work. Is there any possibility of incorporating Holy Grail-like stats into the custom model, thinking specifically of stats like approaches from 200 plus as opposed to the finite buckets? Yeah. So behind the scenes, there's a lot of data stuff always happening to make more things available, to make more things customizable, even things that I get from the PGA Tour, very static. There is an emphasis on making it more flexible. So yes. I will do this question and then I will go eat lunch. I'm starving. How accurate are your projected ownerships on your model? I would argue quite. I can tell you that the R square is very good. That is how you would grade these. I can tell you that from my perspective, they are more than useful. The problem is, you are not getting that information, the R squared number, from other sites to be able to compare. They don't want to disclose that, which they shouldn't. It's fine. But I will tell you, we have done, and it's not even me. It's Mike Cavalunas. He gets all the credit for this. I brought him on because I think he's the best in the world. And he proves that to me, and we back test everything. And I'm very happy with them. And I think that they're very, very good. And he updates them constantly throughout the week. That's why you see them change over time. And I go to battle for them. So there you go. All right. Here's what I'll say. 2 things before you leave. 3 things, 4 things. Subscribe to the channel. Go check out RickRunGood.com. It's like the greatest site in the world. No bias. And I use it, and so will you, and you'll love it, and all that good stuff. There's a Jock Market Power Hour tonight. Stock Market DFS. It's phenomenally fun. 8:15 p.m. Eastern time. Rick Run Good YouTube channel. We'll do another live chat there. Otherwise, I'm starving. Not literally, just figuratively. We are going to eat now. Good luck. Goodbye.